Something that I'd allowed to get under my skin much more than I should have, and that put me on edge during the debate, was my previous history with Flint, going back more than a year. While he has not actually outright labeled me a racist and white supremacist, and continues to deny ever doing so, he has frequently associated me and my work with racism and white supremacism in such a way as to insinuate that I am, at the very least, a closet white supremacist and racist. As to the allegations made in the open letter that my work promotes racism and white supremacism, as well as misogyny, chauvinism, and anti-Semitism, it must presumably be an inconvenient fact for the SAA that there is not a hint of misogyny, chauvinism, or anti-Semitism in Ancient Apocalypse, and that neither race nor white skin are mentioned in any episode of the series. The SAA is therefore reduced once again to smearing by association and to making thinly veiled accusations.
The more that I learn about the current state of affairs involving modern archaeology today, the more that I realize that there is something very, very wrong happening, or shall I say, not happening at all. Throughout the majority of the videos that I've made on my channel, I've focused predominantly on highlighting the legitimate mysteries and unanswered questions related to our lost ancient past. And my conclusion is that not only is our true past far older and more advanced than what we were taught in school, but there was indeed a civilization that existed many thousands of years ago that far exceeds what most would have ever have imagined to be possible, again, based on what we were taught in school. However, if you've been following my recent work, you would have noticed that there is something quite disturbing taking place in the archaeological world today that makes absolutely no sense. I've made a few videos recently highlighting issues involving two sites, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey and Gadang Padang in Indonesia.
You know, I try to look at different perspectives. So I might read, you know, Paul Johnson to get more like the conservative interpretive of history, and I might read somebody else to get a more liberal, left-wing side. Then, you know, you look at, to me, it's a matter of looking at all sides, applying your reason, your critical thinking abilities, and knowing, for example, how propaganda works, learning how to recognize it, because now propaganda is everywhere, it's prevalent. And it's all pretty much leading us to the mindset of accepting this authoritarian, hierarchical structure of society. And, you know, trust the experts. When it comes to COVID, trust the experts. When it comes to foreign policy, trust the experts. You know, when it comes to climate change, trust the experts. You know, and if you're not, you know, a government-funded scientist, your opinion on climate change doesn't amount to anything. So for me, it's just a matter of critical thinking, using your reason, being skeptical, looking at all sides of an issue, and I think that we can sort it out. I've looked at the climate. I got interested in climate change, you know, literally back in the 70s, and so I started studying it. And you know, when So I got fascinated with that. I mean, we lived a rural life. I always had this sense about the landscape, that there was something there. About the time I got out of high school, I started, you know, traveling around. I loved the outdoors. I camped and hiked all the time. So I kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, there's a story here, right? There's something that's interesting. Why is this, like, near our property, right on the edge of the lake? I used to play on it when I was a kid. It was a boulder, maybe about double the size of Rob's desk there. Big boulder, just sitting there, completely out of place. As I got older, I like, why is that rock sitting there? You know, like a lot of people, maybe it's just a rock, it's there, we don't need to know. But I was more like, well, you know, why is that rock there? And then I've told this story, I'll tell it again very quickly. 1969, there was the Minnesota River flows from, it flows across southern Minnesota. It comes up and joins it's a tributary to the Mississippi River. And yeah, there it is right there.